Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our talk today on Goethe. Goethe was a great German philosopher. Actually, this talk is not on Goethe as it's his song. He wrote a song and we can say exactly it's a knot in the praise of Mohammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the praise in our prophet, the prophet for the whole humanity. So Goethe was a great philosopher, and when we are talking about Goethe, the praise of Goethe was done by Allama Iqbal. Before going to the knot and my translation of Goethe's knot in Kashmiri, which I did way back, and I would first like to tell you something about Goethe. As Goethe he was a person who was born in 1749 in Germany, and later he died at the age of 80 years in 1837. And when we're talking about his writings, he wrote the famous play Faust, wherein he depicted the law and the intellectual capacity and the law, what exactly can be done by the help of law. And you say that, and the great book is The Sorrows of the Young Werther, or you can see Prometheus. And when we're talking about the literary movement at that time was Stern and Trained literary movement, and he was not only a philosopher, a writer, a dramatist, a verse writer, but you can see the great epic written in verses like Hermann and Dorothy is one of his great works. Or he was a scientist and he wrote on the plants, and you see the metamorphosis of the plants is one of the scientific work written by Goethe. And some great scholars who praised Goethe, and one of the greatest, I would say, ever born in American society, the greatest scholar like Emerson, who speaks about Goethe and says, and he selected Goethe among six famous persons of the West, and those were Plato, Napoleon, William Shakespeare. And among those six persons, some more persons, Goethe was selected as, in his work, the work of Emerson, as that's work of same name, and these were the six representatives. He wrote some 3 novels, and he wrote some 10,000 letters. And if we're talking about Allama Iqbal, what he says when he read Goethe, he was delighted to read about the person, delighted to speak about that person, and delighted to praise that person. Allama Iqbal speaks that Goethe had great influence of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi alayhi rahmah, and because of that influence, he even speaks that he once got a chance to be in the influence of Maulana Jalaluddin in the Garden of Heaven. Like in Payami Mashriki says that Nuqtadani Almani Ra Dar Eram Sohbate Ustad Ba Pire Ajam Shairi Ko Hamcha Olijina Nes Paigam Barbare Daulat Kitab Khan Bardanai Asrar Kadim Qissa Paimo Ne Ibliso Hakim Guft Rumi A Sukhan Ra Ba Nigar Tu Malik Saida Asti Az Doshkar Fikir Tu Dar Kunj Dil Khilwat Kazir E Jahan Ka Ra Ba Afreed, and then speaks more about that Sozo Soze Jahan Be Taikaradid Dar Sadaf Tamir Go Har Bardid Hardid Go Hardid Har کسی از رمز عشق آگاه نیست هر کسی شایان ای درگاه نیست دان کو نیک محرم است زیر کیز ابلیس و عشق آدم از آدم است. And he speaks that when he got chance to meet Hazrat Jalaluddin Rumi in the Garden of Heaven, Iram, Nuktadani Almani, the writer, the scholar and the philosopher of the Germany, and he was able to talk to Rumi, and he spoke about the past, the famous written play, and told Rumi that he wrote about the law and the intellect and how it works there. And then Rumi says that you have written this. He praises Goethe in the words of Allama Iqbal. He praises that you have written such a great work and showed that Ishq can do everything. You can win by the help of law and not by the help of sometimes akal. So you have to make your leader akal. Because if you are saying about the intellectual capacity, that you are saying about your thoughts, sometimes they can be only futile imaginations. When you are just taking the help of your akal. As Maulana Rumi says that in his famous Masnavi Rumi, Dana be Mags Gai, Gardad Nihal, Surate be Jan Nabashud Juz Khayal. It's the treatise when he's speaking about Hazrat Shaib alayhi salam. Then also he says Dana be Mags Gai, Gardad Nihal, Surate be Jan Nabashud Juz Khayal, and says that actually when you are saying about the seed without anything there inside and that cannot sprout the plant, how can that sprout the plant? Same is the case when you're saying about the intellectual capacity, which can be sometimes futile imaginations, and they can be futile imaginations, those ideas. So you have to work only because of your law. That can be your tool to win to go for different terms and just win the wars. And now I'll just come to my, sometimes we'll have a talk on Goethe and the other scholars from East and West, and today I'll just like to read what Goethe says in his song about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I need not to translate it because you can't understand. This is my own language. I'll just translate it a bit later. I have translated it into Kashmiri, and you can see exactly he writes about Prophet. Zutbraizan tarkanaz Benag iman kananaz Zutbraizan tarkanaz Benag iman kananaz Falwun gulabushtan aswun sinad besi Obrunishi dur timo pak bazruho Obrunishi dur timo pak bazruho Lakcharas lol burhas sui be misal vesi Obr manch neran Janus Josh Herbit Obr manch neran Janus Josh Herbit Khosh andaz mir pur sui pur shabab vesi Kalem katan kanan man Khosh nar dis ginandra Marmari kanan khasit pet pur nay suwaz vesi Daryav rahmatuka Darche shakal andar drav Daryav rahmatuka Darche shakal andar drav Bayan duhit paka al nasu yar vesi Yeti gai kadam pelantas Yeti gai kadam pelantas Ted pet galab zevli Zu al sabzazaras be no bahar vesi When dur sabzazaran When dur sabzazaran Razalan retit subahgo Daman retit lakutna Gai shol mara vesi Baya Sani Baya. Now Goethe speaks to Baya Sani Baya. Nikna as Nikna's as Kodais Quachmans Bed Samandar China Lazara Visi Maritrabit Yush Pyara China Mushtaq Estitimsin Quachmans Gusmus Pyaran, Wal Wushilol, Vesi, Mustadam Lion, Harsat, Aftaban, Wal Boz Dad Sun, SB, Sahar Visi. But exactly Goethe says, he says how he came and he flooded the whole, everything, whatever was there, he came and he took everything along with him, and he was the mercy, and he is the mercy for the whole world, for the whole humanity, and says that you take us to Allah, you take us there, we are helpless people. And in fact, he prays in it, he makes the prayer also, and he says the description how he came in without letting anything there. He spoke about the oneness of Allah, exactly giving the notion of the society then in Arab and how it was. I would say that idols were being prayed, and then they were being praised by the poets, and he speaks. And same was later, it was actually the Diwan of Mashriq, or it was Goethe's Diwan, and the answer was given by Allama Iqbal, and this was a song which I translated, Vivek. So, next lecture will be on any personality. Till then, goodbye.